blew in from the great clattering shipyards, the pattering poplar trees that gave the place its name, and the lush green marshlands where the cattle grazed. London lay a few miles distant, a smoky mass of menace and promise. It was all so familiar to her, as natural as breathing. And yet, Makepeace could not feel that she belonged. Mother never said, "This is not our home," but her eyes said it all the time. When she had first arrived in Poplar, Mother had changed her baby daughter's name to Makepeace so that the pair of them would be accepted more easily. Makepeace didn't know what her original name had been, and the thought of that made her feel a bit unreal. Makepeace did not quite feel like a name at all. It was an offering, a way of making peace with God and the godly folk of Poplar. It was an apology for the hole where Makepeace's father should have been. Everyone they knew was godly. That was what the community called themselves, not out of pride, but to set themselves apart from all those on a darker road with hell's mouth at the end. Makepeace was not the only one with a strange, pious-sounding name. There was a smattering of others: Verity, What God Will, Forsaken, Deliverance, Kill Sin, and so forth. Every other evening, Aunt's room was used for prayer meetings and Bible readings, and on Sundays they all walked to the tall, grey, ragstone church. The minister was kind when you met him in the street, but terrifying in the pulpit. From the rapt faces of the other listeners, Makepeace could tell that there must be great truths shining in him, and love like a cold white comet. He talked of holding strong against the wicked temptations of drink, gambling, dancing, theatres, and idle merriment upon the Sabbath, which were all snares laid by the devil. He told them what was happening in London and the wider world, the latest treachery at court, the plots of foul Catholics. His sermons were frightening, but also thrilling. Sometimes Makepeace walked out of the church tingling with the sense that the whole congregation were shining soldiers leagued against the forces of darkness. For a little while she could believe that Mother and Makepeace were part of something bigger, something wondrous alongside all their neighbours. The feeling never lasted. Soon they were a lonely army of two once again. Mother never said, "These are not our friends," but her grip on Makepeace's hand tightened when they entered the church, or walked into the market, or stopped to greet anyone. It was as if there were an invisible fence running around Mother and Makepeace, cutting them off from everything else. And so Makepeace half smiled at the children, the way Mother half smiled at the mothers. Those other children, the ones with fathers. Children are little priests of their parents, watching their every gesture and expression for signs of their divine will. From her earliest days, Makepeace had known that the two of them were never truly safe, and that other people might turn on them. Instead, Makepeace had learned to find comfort and kinship in speechless things. She understood the busy malice of horseflies, the frightened anger of dogs, the heavy patience of cows. It got her into trouble sometimes. Once, her lip had been split and her nose bloodied for screaming at some boys who were throwing stones at a bird's nest. Killing birds for the pot or stealing eggs for breakfast was fair enough, but pointless, stupid cruelty roused an anger in Makepeace that she could never properly explain. The boys had stared at her in bewilderment, then turned her stones on her. Of course they had. Cruelty was normal, as much a part of their lives as the flowers and the rain. They were used to the grammar school canes, the pig screams behind the butchers, and the blood in the sawdust of the cockpit. Smashing little feathered lives was as natural and satisfying to them as stamping in a puddle. If you stuck out, you got your nose bloodied. To survive, Mother and Makepeace needed to blend in. Yet they never quite succeeded. The night after the wolf story, without explanation, Mother took Makepeace to the old graveyard. By night, the church seemed 100 times larger, its tower an unforgiving rectangle of utter blackness. The grass was tussocky underfoot and greyish in the starlight. In a corner of the cemetery stood a little brick chapel, long unused. Mother led Makepeace inside and dumped armfuls of blankets in a corner of the dark building. "Can we go home now?" Makepeace's skin was crawling. Something was close. Some things were all around her.